it's good you're doing a book as well on it. But the Goldstone report is a product of the UN, and usually the UN gets very little attention from the media and from the activists also about what's going on. For example, Goldstone asked that there be an experts group set up within the Security Council and that they monitor what's going on with these supposed investigations. The Security Council has been asked, are they doing anything? And they constantly say, oh, they weren't asked to. And the General Assembly approved the Goldstone report, supported it, and yet they didn't send it. They sent a copy to the Security Council. They didn't ask the Security Council to do the experts report that the Goldstone report requested. Is there any sense you have of a way to get more attention to what the UN is doing, and somehow could that be helpful?
Unfortunately, the UN is doing nothing. But there are things that can be done. I've spoken to several Arab delegations, and I've given them what, in my opinion, are the right things to do now. The most important thing, in my opinion, that should be done is that the Goldstone report, it's finding that the blockade of Gaza is a possible crime against humanity. That should be immediately referred to the International Court of Justice. Just as the International Court in July 2004 was asked by the General Assembly to quote them, what are the legal consequences of the wall that Israel is building in the occupied West Bank? They should be now asked, what are the legal consequences of the blockade that Israel has imposed on Gaza? And that we should get a ruling from the International Court of Justice that the blockade is, as Amnesty International put it, a flagrant violation of international law, or as the Goldstone report speculated, a possible crime against humanity. I don't think the right place now to go is the Security Council, because everybody knows it's dead in the water there. But there are other things that the General Assembly can do. And I'll be honest, I am trying to get an invitation to speak to the General Assembly on the Goldstone report and on what happened in Gaza. And I've spoken to several delegations about it, and I intend to devote and invest a considerable amount of time to securing that invitation. Now, I know there are all sorts of technical problems with that, but I'm sure if you read deeply enough into all your articles in the Charter, you can figure out a way to make some special dispensation and let me speak. I've been involved in this for 30 years. I have my credentials, my background, and I want to have an opportunity to speak in the General Assembly. And in particular, I want to speak to those European delegations who are constantly hiding behind their alleged sympathy growing out of World War II, hiding out behind those obligations, hiding out behind those alleged sympathies, to not do what should be done at this point. And I want to speak directly to those European delegations if I have a chance to speak. In particular, I want to speak directly to the German delegation about its moral cowardice, which it disguises, which it pretends is the high moral ground, their eternal responsibility to the Jews. It's despicable, not only how the European delegations carry on, but how they use the Nazi Holocaust as a fig leaf to hide behind in their moral cowardice. And that needs to be directly addressed. And with all due modesty, I think I have the right to address it, and I would like to. And I hope all of you who are sympathetic to the rights of the human rights of the Palestinians will use your resources to secure me that right to speak for the General Assembly, and for once and for all to put an end to the conflict and to allow everyone, and I'm underlining that, italicizing it and putting it in boldface, to allow everyone involved in that conflict, Palestinian, Arab, and Israeli Jew, to get on with their lives and live proud, productive, and peaceful lives. And that's what we want. And there's an opportunity now. The massacre in Gaza has awakened the conscience of the world. And the Goldstone report has finally displaced the idiotic peace process with what's the real issue, the human rights, the systematic, methodical, daily violations of human rights of the Palestinians. And so there are real opportunities now. And we should try our best to exploit them and now allot the UN for another year and another year and another year and another year to turn into a talking shop on the Palestine question.
I have many questions. Benny, Nazir.